War has consumed the stars. Entire civilizations wiped out in the blink of an eye. But amidst the chaos, two unlikely allies will rise. A human soldier haunted by loss and an enigmatic alien girl carrying secrets older than time itself. Together, they must face unimaginable dangers, unravel mysteries buried deep within the cosmos, and confront forces that threaten to tear reality apart. Can they unite warring factions before it's too late? Or will their bond become another casualty of this endless conflict? Subscribe now and join us as we explore the final frontier. The void between galaxies was silent, save for the faint hum of quantum engines powering through hyperspace. Captain Elias Vera adjusted his seat in the cockpit of the Phoenix Dawn Dash, a battered yet resilient starship that had seen more battles than most fleets combined. His reflection stared back at him from the metallic surface of the control panel, weathered features marked by scars both physical and emotional, eyes hollowed by years of witnessing horrors no one should endure. He clenched his jaw, pushing aside thoughts of the past. There was no room for weakness here, not when billions depended on him. Behind him, the soft glow of the ship's AI interface flickered, projecting holographic maps of enemy territories onto the walls. Red zones pulsed ominously, marking areas overrun by the Caliph Dominion, a ruthless empire bent on conquering every corner of known space. Their machines were unstoppable, their soldiers unyielding, but worst of all was their leader, Emperor Zitharon, whose thirst for power knew no bounds. Rumors whispered that he sought something far greater than mere domination, an artifact capable of rewriting existence itself. Elias's fingers danced over the controls, rerouting power to the shields. A proximity alert blared suddenly, snapping him out of his reverie. On the radar screen, a small craft appeared, drifting dangerously close to a field of asteroid debris. It wasn't broadcasting any identification signals, which meant only one thing: it was either a trap or someone desperate enough to risk everything. Against his better judgment, Elias altered course. If there was even a sliver of hope that whoever piloted that ship carried vital information, he couldn't ignore it. As the Phoenix Dawn approached, the mysterious vessel came into view. Its design was unfamiliar, sleek, and organic-looking, as if grown rather than built. Strange runes glowed along its hull, casting eerie shadows against the surrounding rocks. Elias activated the external comms. Unidentified craft, this is Captain Elias Vera of the United Galactic Alliance. Identify yourself immediately. Static crackled before a voice responded, trembling but defiant. Please help me. The accent was melodic, unlike anything Elias had heard before. Before he could respond, the ship shuddered violently. One of the asteroids had shifted, colliding with the smaller craft and sending it spiraling toward destruction. Without hesitation, Elias engaged the tractor beam, pulling the damaged vessel aboard just moments before impact. Inside the airlock, Elias waited anxiously as the decontamination process completed. When the doors finally hissed open, he found himself face to face with the last person, or being, he expected. She stood barely 5 feet tall, her body covered in shimmering scales that refracted light like liquid diamonds. Her large, almond-shaped eyes gleamed with intelligence and sorrow, framed by delicate tendrils of bioluminescent hair. She wore tattered robes adorned with symbols similar to those on her ship. Despite her frail appearance, she exuded an aura of quiet strength. "I am Lyra," she said softly, bowing slightly. Her words resonated directly in Elias's mind, bypassing language barriers entirely. "I come seeking aid. My people are gone, wiped out by the Dominion. I carry knowledge they died to protect." Elias studied her carefully, weighing his options. Trusting strangers was risky, especially during wartime, but something about her demeanor struck him as genuine. "What kind of knowledge?" he asked cautiously. Lyra hesitated, then reached into a pouch strapped to her side. She withdrew a crystalline orb, pulsating with an inner light. "This is the Astral Codex," she explained. "It holds the key to defeating the Dominion, but also the potential to destroy everything if misused. That is why I fled. They cannot have it." Before Elias could respond, Alarms blared throughout the ship. The navigation console displayed multiple red dots converging rapidly, Dominion warships. Somehow they'd been tracked. Cursing under his breath, Elias sprinted to the cockpit, Lyra trailing behind. "We need to jump now," he shouted, initiating the hyperdrive sequence. But the Dominion fleet was faster. Energy blasts rocked the Phoenix Dawn Dash, throwing both occupants off balance. Sparks flew as systems overloaded. Desperation gripped Elias as he realized escape might not be possible. Then Lyra stepped forward, placing her hands on the control panel. The runes on her skin began to glow, syncing with the ship's systems. Suddenly, the hyperdrive surged to life, propelling them into the safety of subspace. When they emerged hours later in a remote sector, Elias turned to Lyra, astonishment written across his face. "How did you do that?" She smiled faintly, though sadness lingered in her gaze. "My people were engineers of the cosmos. Our technology merged with biology long ago. I am what remains of them." For days, they traveled together, sharing stories and piecing together fragments of a plan. Lyra revealed that the Astral Codex contained coordinates leading to an ancient superweapon hidden deep within a black hole. While powerful enough to end the war, activating it required solving complex equations tied to universal constants. Failure would result in catastrophic collapse. Meanwhile, Elias opened up about his own losses, the family he'd left behind, the comrades who'd fallen beside him. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of purpose reignite within him. Perhaps fate had brought Lyra into his life for a reason. Their journey took them through treacherous regions of space, evading bounty hunters, navigating asteroid fields, and battling rogue drones. Along the way, they encountered remnants of resistance groups scattered across the galaxy. Inspired by Lyra's wisdom and Elias's determination, these factions began to unite under a common cause. Slowly but surely, a coalition formed, ready to strike back against the Dominion. Yet challenges mounted. Betrayals tested alliances, internal conflicts threatened cohesion, and the ever-present specter of failure loomed large. Through it all, Elias and Lyra remained steadfast, drawing strength from each other. Their bond deepened, transcending species and circumstance, becoming something neither could fully explain. One night, as they drifted through a nebula bathed in ethereal light, Elias asked Lyra a question that had been gnawing at him. "Why did your people create the Codex? Why build something so dangerous?" Lyra sighed, her gaze distant. "They believed in balance. The Codex was meant to ensure harmony among civilizations, granting immense power only to those wise enough to wield it responsibly. But greed corrupted its purpose. Now it is our duty to restore its original intent, or destroy it forever." Her words weighed heavily on Elias. He realized the gravity of their mission extended beyond winning a war. It was about preserving the very fabric of existence. Finally, the day arrived. The United Fleet assembled near the edge of the black hole, its gravitational pull distorting light into surreal patterns. As they prepared to deploy the Astral Codex, Dominion reinforcements arrived, outnumbering them 10-1. Chaos erupted as ships clashed in a dazzling display of firepower and strategy. Amidst the carnage, Elias and Lyra boarded a shuttle, racing toward the heart of the singularity. Inside, the Codex interfaced with the superweapon, presenting them with the ultimate test. Lines of code scrolled endlessly, demanding solutions beyond mortal comprehension. Time slowed as they worked feverishly, their minds merging in a symbiotic dance of logic and intuition. Outside, the battle raged on. Ships exploded in fiery bursts, debris raining down like meteors. Hope dwindled with each passing second. Then, just as all seemed lost, the superweapon roared to life. Waves of energy rippled outward, neutralizing Dominion vessels without causing collateral damage. Cheers erupted across the fleet as victory became inevitable. Back aboard the Phoenix Dawn Dash, Elias and Lyra watched the aftermath unfold. Exhaustion weighed heavily on them, but relief washed over their faces. They had done the impossible. Yet as they celebrated, Lyra grew quiet. "This is not the end," she murmured. The Codex still exists. Its power must never fall into the wrong hands again. Elias nodded solemnly. Together, they made a vow to safeguard the artifact, ensuring it would never be used for harm. As the fleet dispersed, carrying news of peace to distant worlds, Elias and Lyra set off once more, bound by duty and destiny. In the vast expanse of space, their adventure continued, a beacon of hope shining brightly against the darkness. As the galaxy celebrated the end of the Dominion's reign, cracks began to form within the coalition. Some factions grew wary of Elias and Lyra's intentions, questioning whether the Astral Codex should remain in their hands. Whispers spread among the resistance leaders. What if the artifact's power corrupted them as it had others? Elias noticed the tension during a summit aboard the Phoenix Dawndash. Leaders argued over the future of the Codex, their voices rising in heated debate. "We cannot trust its power," said Commander Reiner, a grizzled veteran of the war. "Destroy it now, before it becomes a weapon again." Lyra stepped forward, her presence commanding silence. "The Codex is not evil, it is a tool. Its potential depends on who wields it. If we destroy it, we lose our chance to rebuild what was broken. But if we guard it wisely, we can heal the scars this war has left behind." Her words resonated with some, but skepticism lingered. Elias realized that maintaining unity would require more than speeches. It demanded action. He proposed a council to oversee the Codex, ensuring no single faction controlled it. Though reluctant, the leaders agreed, knowing they had no better alternative. With the council established, Elias and Lyra turned their attention to rebuilding. They traveled to devastated worlds, offering aid and technology salvaged from Dominion strongholds. On one such mission, they visited Zentharus, a planet reduced to ash by orbital bombardment. Survivors huddled in underground bunkers, their eyes hollow with despair. Lyra knelt beside a young girl clutching a tattered doll. "You are safe now," she whispered, her voice gentle yet firm. "The darkness will pass." Elias marveled at her ability to inspire hope. Where he saw only ruin, she saw possibilities. Together, they coordinated relief efforts, using the Codex to accelerate recovery. Crops sprouted overnight, water purified itself, and energy grids hummed back to life. Slowly, the people of Zentharus began to smile again. But peace came at a cost. Rumors of rogue factions seeking revenge reached Elias's ears. Former Dominion loyalists plotted in secret, vowing to reclaim their lost empire. The war might have ended, but the fight for stability had only begun. Months passed, and the galaxy seemed to breathe easier. Yet beneath the surface, unrest simmered. Reports flooded in of pirate raids targeting supply convoys and sabotage attempts on reconstruction projects. Elias suspected these acts were orchestrated by remnants of the Dominion, operating under a new leader known only as the Shadow. One night, while reviewing intelligence data, Elias stumbled upon a chilling transmission. A masked figure addressed the camera, their voice distorted but unmistakably human. "The age of weakness is over. The Codex belongs to those who understand its true purpose. Surrender it or face annihilation." Elias clenched his fists, anger boiling within him. He showed the message to Lyra, who listened intently. "This is not just about the Codex," she said. "It's about fear. Fear of change, fear of losing control. The Shadow preys on that fear." Determined to stop the threat, Elias assembled a strike team. With Lyra by his side, they set out to track down the Shadow's base of operations, a hidden asteroid colony deep in uncharted space. The journey to the asteroid colony tested their resolve. Navigating through treacherous asteroid fields and evading patrols, the Phoenix Dawn limped closer to its destination. Supplies dwindled, tempers flared, and doubts crept into even the bravest hearts. Lyra spent hours meditating in the ship's observation deck, her connection to the Codex growing stronger with each passing day. She confided in Elias that the artifact spoke to her, not in words, but in feelings and visions. It warned of a great trial ahead, one that would test their bond like never before. When they finally arrived at the colony, they found it heavily fortified. Stealth was impossible. Brute force was their only option. As the Phoenix Dawn descended, cannons blazing, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into a trap. The assault on the colony was brutal. Waves of enemy fighters swarmed the Phoenix Dawn dash, forcing Elias to make split-second decisions. Inside the ship, crew members struggled to maintain systems under relentless fire. Amidst the chaos, a shocking betrayal unfolded. Lieutenant Kale, one of Elias's most trusted officers, sabotaged the engines, leaving them vulnerable. Before anyone could intervene, Kale transmitted their location to the Shadow. "I'm sorry, Captain," he said coldly, "but the Codex must be free." Fury surged through Elias, but there was no time to confront Kale. The colony's defenses breached. They boarded the station, fighting their way through corridors filled with enemies. Lyra used her connection to the Codex to disable traps and unlock doors, her powers reaching new heights. Finally, they reached the heart of the colony, a massive chamber housing a device designed to amplify the Codex's energy. Standing at its center was the Shadow, revealed to be none other than Commander Reiner. Reiner sneered as Elias and Lyra entered the chamber. "You think you can control the Codex? You're fools. It belongs to everyone or no one." Before they could respond, Reiner activated the device, unleashing a surge of energy that sent shockwaves throughout the station. The Codex pulsed violently, threatening to overload. Lyra stepped forward, her body glowing with an otherworldly light. "You don't understand," she said, her voice echoing with authority. "The Codex is alive, feels pain, joy, fear just like us. To misuse it is to doom us all." Reiner hesitated, torn between ambition and doubt. Seizing the moment, Elias tackled him, disabling the device. The energy surge subsided, but the damage was done. The station began to collapse around them. Escape was nearly impossible. Debris rained down, explosions rocked the corridors, and escape pods were scarce. Elias and Lyra worked together to evacuate survivors, prioritizing others over themselves. As the last pod launched, they faced a grim reality. There was only one seat left. Lyra pushed Elias toward the pod. "Go," she urged. "You're needed out there. I'll stay and stabilize the Codex."
"No,"
Elias protested. "I won't leave you." She placed a hand on his cheek, her touch radiating warmth. "This is my destiny. Trust me." Tears blurred Elias's vision as the pod ejected, carrying him away from the doomed station. Behind him, the Codex erupted in a blinding flash, consuming everything, including Lyra. Back among the stars, Elias carried Lyra's memory like a torch. Her sacrifice saved countless lives, proving that even in death, her influence endured. The Codex stabilized, its power contained once more. Under Elias's guidance, the Council ensured it remained a force for good. Reconstruction efforts flourished, and the galaxy entered a new era of prosperity. Stories of Elias and Lyra spread far and wide, inspiring generations to come. Statues were erected in their honor, songs sung of their courage, and lessons learned from their sacrifices taught to every child. Yet Elias often gazed at the stars, wondering if Lyra watched over him from beyond. He felt her presence in quiet moments, guiding him still. Years later, Elias stood aboard a new starship, christened the Lyra's Light Dash. Its mission, to explore uncharted regions of the galaxy, spreading hope and knowledge to those in need. As the ship soared into the cosmos, Elias smiled faintly. The journey was far from over, but he knew Lyra's spirit lived on in every act of kindness, every bridge built between cultures, and every dream of a brighter future. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through space, war, and redemption. If you enjoyed Epic Space War, the last hope for humanity, don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling adventures across the stars.